The moment is here. This is our moment.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 4 of America Unfiltered with James Pascalides. I'm here to talk about a few different topics today. Today I'm going to dive into why I think the US should acquire the Panama Canal, Greenland, and Canada. I'm going to talk about Jimmy Carter's Remembrance Day, the California wildfires, and then I'll end the day talking about what I love about America. To dive right into things today, we're going to start with Jimmy Carter's Remembrance Day. I want to take a moment to remember Jimmy Carter. He was the 39th president of the United States. Whether you agreed or disagreed with his politics or not, his dedication to public service is something we should all respect. He did make the Alaska National Interest Lands Conservation Act in 1980. It provided over 157 million new acres of land that protected parks and wildlife throughout Alaska. He also won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002 for his recognition in humanitarian work through the Carter Foundation. He wasn't just a president, he was a humanitarian, an advocate for peace, and a man who cared deeply about this country. No matter what you think of his politics, again, I think we all should respect the office of the president. Whether you agree or disagree with whoever the current president is or past presidents, I think respecting the president is something us as Americans should do a lot more. I also now want to get into why I think Trump should acquire Greenland, Canada, and the Panama Canal. We're going to start with Greenland. Greenland is owned by Denmark. It's an autonomous territory. They have controls over their internal affairs in the country, even though they are owned by Denmark. If we did acquire it, it would be a very strategic military play for the United States. We already do have the Thule Air Base in an Arctic defense position up there. It is critical for Russia and China, or for us against Russia and China. Beyond that as well, though, there are a lot of rare earth elements there, a lot of uranium, gold, zinc, iron, and a ton more. And they're not allowed to mine any of that because of the restrictions Denmark puts on them. So if the US was able to purchase Greenland, it would not only it would grow their economy, it would grow our economy as well. It would strengthen dominance in critical industries throughout the United States. And I really don't think that Greenland realizes its full potential yet, with Denmark holding it back. I really do think Denmark is holding them back from mining all these different minerals around their country. I also do think that the gas reserves, the gas and oil reserves there as well, would be huge for the United States. I really do think acquiring Greenland would be a huge step for the US, but beyond that, acquiring Canada too. Canada is one of the biggest trade partners with the US. Acquiring Canada as the 51st state would not only strengthen our military, strengthen our land, it would put us in an offensive position against Russia, against China for the future. It would keep us off the defensive. It would not only boost the economy of both countries, making trade easier, we could also find some new sort of passport like they have in the EU. I think that Kevin O'Leary is one of the biggest backers of this as well. He's met with Trump at Mar-a-Lago a ton. He was even trying to meet with Trudeau before he resigned. I think us having some sort of a merger with Canada would not only benefit the US, but Canadian citizens as well. And it seems that over 50% of people in Canada are behind this idea too. The Panama Canal was built by the United States, and until 1999, it was controlled by the United States. I do think that getting the Panama Canal back to the US is crucial. One of the things that I don't like about it is that we put the money in to build it, we put the effort in to build it, while now we pay to use it every time we go through it, while the Panamanian government does not pay any fees. So I would also be open to the idea of them taking away the fees along with charging US vessels instead of acquiring it. But I do think acquiring this would not only be another critical step for our military and for our country, but I do think acquiring this territory would be another huge thing for our economy. I think boosting the US economy is one of the biggest goals of the Trump campaign right now, especially after everything under Biden-Harris. I want to get into California and the wildfires over there. Before we dive in, I do want to take a moment. I want to think about the families, the firefighters, and everyone who has been affected by the California wildfires. My heart and our hearts go out to those who've lost their homes, their loved ones, their pets, their livelihoods. I think it's a tragedy. I think what makes it slightly more of a tragedy as well is that it seems it could have been preventable. When you look at California's numbers with their spending, it's not pretty. So California has spent over $9.6 billion on their homelessness initiatives. Their homelessness initiatives they have failed because homelessness has increased by over 36% in the last 7 years in California over that same time that they've spent $10 billion. At the same time, they spent an estimated 216 billion dollars on services for undocumented and illegal immigrants throughout the country, on healthcare and education for them, and subsidies for food and housing. So when you look at that compared to the $3 billion they've spent on wildfire prevention, and they spent that money in 2021 and 2022, nothing recently, it seems that there's a lot of negligence from Gavin Newsom from the state of California to protect their citizens against natural disasters. Florida's great about this. Florida, we have hurricanes here every year almost. They're not only amazing about getting your power back on, getting homes rebuilt and all that, but they're also great about taking care of their citizens in these disasters. It seems like California has done almost nothing to help prevent this. Especially when you look at the statistics that show that there are over 300 dry fire hydrants in Los Angeles County alone, and over 200 stolen fire hydrants in Los Angeles County alone as well. Those numbers come from 23 and 24 from Yahoo News. So I really think that California has their priorities out of whack. I think billions have been spent on homelessness and illegal immigration, while very little has been spent to deter the wildfires in the state, which we all know have been a problem. I also want to play this video from the Joe Rogan podcast. This video is from 6 months ago, actually, where he's talking to Sammy Merrill, who's an amazing comedian too. We're going to watch the video right here.
Like, I talked to a fireman once. This is one of the reasons that freaked me out. I had one of the time I'm wearing an LA Fire Department show. Shout out.
Yeah.
Fire Department shirt.
It's a badass job.
Fucking tough people, man.
Yeah.
Those fucking people, they don't get nearly the credit that they deserve. So I was talking to this guy, and he was telling me, he goes, dude, one day, he goes, it's just going to be the right wind, and fire's going to start in the right place, and it's going to burn through L.A. all the way to the ocean, and there's not a fucking thing we can do about it. I go, really? He goes, yeah, we just get lucky. He goes, we get lucky with the wind. He goes, but if the wind hits the wrong way, it's just going to burn straight through L.A., and there's not going to be a thing we can do about it. Because these fires are so big, dude. When they're talking about like thousands of acres that are burning simultaneously with like 40-mile-an-hour winds. And the wind's just blowing embers through the air, and those embers are landing on roofs, and those houses are going up, and they're landing on bushes, and those bushes are going up, and everything's dry. And once it happens in a way where it's so spread out that there's nothing they can do.
Now that we've all watched the video together, I want us to talk about it a little. I think if a comedian like Joe Rogan, he's a comedian, a podcaster, he does so much, but I think if Joe Rogan can predict this 6 months out talking to a fire chief, I think that the governor of California should have been able to do this as well. And the fact that the governor of California did little to nothing compared to almost anything else he was doing to prevent these, I think is a tragedy. I think America is a land where we need to take care of our citizens before we take care of other people's citizens. So I think Gavin Newsom spending $216 billion on illegal immigration while he only spent $3 billion to prevent wildfires, I think is disgusting and a tragedy. I really cannot wait for the day Gavin Newsom is gone from California. I think he has done terrible, terrible things for that state, and I think as they're able to separate from him in the future, I think California will get back to hopefully what it used to be. I want to end the day talking about what I love about America. I personally love this country so much. I respect our military. I respect our police. I respect our president. I think that us as Americans, as I've said in previous episodes, need to keep coming together, keep communicating with each other, and keep opening up a dialogue. I think the more we can open up a dialogue with each other and communicate about our issues, whether we agree or disagree, is the greatest way for us as Americans to all come together and really feel that sense of just being a patriot that we all used to feel. There was a time in this country where, again, not everyone agreed with everything, but people didn't hate you because of your beliefs. People didn't not want to talk to you or not come to a holiday because someone in your family voted a certain way. I think this country has seen too much division along those lines over the last few years. I think we need to, like I said, keep opening up dialogues, keep talking. I think the more we talk to voters, the more we talk to people around us, our friends, our family, our neighbors, our children, the more we as Americans will grow and benefit. I think America is the greatest land of opportunity. It's a beautiful land. It has beaches, it has cities, it has the greatest people, some of the best food, and we have the best economy in the world. America is a country I have fallen in love with, and a country I will continue to fall in love with as I grow older. I love America. I love all of you. I love this country. I'm James Pascalides. This is America Unfiltered, episode 4, and I'm signing off. I hope you all have a blessed day. Thank you.